Hey guys, tonight we're diving deep into a journey that's 2,000 years old. 12 months, 12 themes, 12 doorways into ancient clarity. This isn't just another self-help series. This is ancient power distilled into daily, bite-sized doses you can actually live by. So, before you get comfortable, take a moment to like the video and subscribe, but only if you genuinely enjoy what I do here. Now, dim the lights. Maybe turn on a fan for that soft background hum, and let's ease into tonight's journey together. It all begins right where you are. July duty. A person should be upright, not kept upright. Marcus Aurelius. You know what integrity looks like when no one's watching. This is it. A Stoic doesn't need praise, supervision, or applause to do what's right. They're upright because it's who they are, not because someone's holding them up. Your duty isn't based on being seen. It's based on being aligned with virtue, with purpose, with self-respect. So if no one ever thanked you for your effort, would you still give your best? That's your test. And that's where freedom lives. Do not expect Plato's ideal republic. Be satisfied with making even the smallest step forward. Marcus Aurelius. Don't wait for the world to be ideal before you act. Marcus reminds us your duty isn't to fix everything. It's to do something worthwhile, even in imperfect conditions. Maybe especially then. Real duty is messy. It's rarely glamorous. And it often feels like a drop in an ocean. But it's still your drop. Progress isn't always heroic. Sometimes it's just holding the line with integrity in a world that keeps shifting. So you were born to feel nice instead of doing things and experiencing them. Don't you see the plants, the birds, the ants, the spiders, the bees, all busy with their own tasks, putting the world in order, as best they can? Marcus Aurelius. Nature doesn't complain, it contributes. The Stoic sees their place in the universe the same way you're part of a system, not above it. You're not here just to coast. You're here to build, serve, and shape like every ant and bee. That's duty, not self-sacrifice for recognition, but self-alignment through contribution. Ask yourself each morning, what is my role today? Then play it well, without resentment, without drama. Pay attention to what's in front of you, the principle, the task, or what's being portrayed. Marcus Aurelius. Duty starts with focus. Most people drift because they're distracted. They scroll past their responsibilities. But the Stoic notices, observes, and acts on what matters. There's always a duty calling for your attention, a habit that needs discipline, a relationship that needs honesty, a task that needs care. Right now, what is asking for your full presence? That's your duty. It's not out there, it's right here. You are not a citizen of Rome or Athens, but of the world. Epictetus. Your duty isn't limited to your zip code. Epictetus reminds us that we are global citizens, not just members of a tribe, company, or political party. The Stoic duty is to humanity, not just your side. That means thinking beyond self-interest. It means acting with fairness, even when it's inconvenient. It means choosing principles over partisanship. The wise man isn't provincial. He's universal. So should his sense of duty be. The reward for a good deed is having done it. Seneca, on benefits. You don't do your duty for praise. You do it because it feels right. Seneca's wisdom is piercing here. You helped someone good. Don't expect confetti. The clean conscience is your reward. This mindset protects you from resentment. You give not for a return, but from character. You serve not because people deserve it, but because you deserve to remain generous. That's real virtue duty without a scoreboard. Never shirk the proper duties of a man, nor be misled by anything that might hinder you from carrying them out. Marcus Aurelius. The modern world has a million excuses to opt out. It's not my problem. Let someone else deal with it. What difference can I make? The Stoic doesn't hide behind apathy. They step into duty even when it's hard, even when they'd rather not. Because duty isn't about convenience. It's about congruence, acting in line with your deeper principles. Do what's yours to do, even if it's uncomfortable, especially if it is. He who has a why to live can bear almost any how. Nietzsche, echoing Stoic ideals. Want to endure difficulty? Anchor yourself in duty. When you act for something bigger than your comfort family, values, legacy, your suffering transforms. It stops being meaningless pain and becomes meaningful challenge. This is why Stoics endure hardship with grace. They know what they stand for. And when you know your why, the how becomes fuel. Find your why, write it down, and let it carry you through fire. Nothing will ever be attempted if all possible objections must first be overcome. Samuel Johnson, modern echo of Stoic pragmatism. If you wait until you're ready, you'll wait forever. Duty doesn't wait for perfect timing. It begins with what you've got: imperfect tools, incomplete knowledge, inconvenient circumstances. Start now, while you're unsure, while the conditions aren't ideal. That's the Stoic advantage. They don't seek permission to act. They act, and through action, they refine the path. To live a good life, we have the potential for it, if we learn to be indifferent to what makes no difference. Marcus Aurelius. Your true duty gets clearer when you stop chasing what doesn't matter. You can't do everything, but you must do the things that align with your role, your principles, your nature. Let go of false obligations, image, popularity, hollow status. The Stoic isn't busy, they're directed, because they've stripped away what distracts and embraced what defines. Take full account of what excellences you possess, and in gratitude remember how you would hanker after them if you had them not. Marcus Aurelius. Part of your duty is to use your gifts. You're not responsible for having everything, but you are responsible for using what you've been given: empathy, intelligence, leadership, humor, endurance. Wasting your talent isn't humility, it's avoidance. So ask yourself, am I stewarding what I've been given well? Because Stoic duty doesn't mean doing everything. It means doing your part, with what you've got, to the best of your ability. The best revenge is not to be like your enemy. Marcus Aurelius. When your duty is challenged by injustice, by cruelty, by betrayal, the Stoic doesn't retaliate. They remain just, remain disciplined, remain principled. You don't serve the world by mirroring its worst behavior. You serve it by refusing to become what you oppose. Your duty is to maintain your inner code even when everything external invites you to abandon it. Practical exercises for July. Duty map: list out your current roles: friend, parent, teammate, citizen. For each, write one duty you could fulfill today. Thankless task drill. Do one helpful thing this week without telling anyone. Just act, then let it go. Morning roll reminder before starting your day. Say aloud today, I will act as I insert your role with integrity. Would I still do this if no one knew? Test for each major action today. Ask this question. Gifts inventory. List 5 qualities you possess. Write one way you can use each this week to serve others. August, pragmatism. Don't go on discussing what a good person should be. Just be one. Marcus Aurelius. You already know what's right. So why keep analyzing, debating? Postponing Marcus brings us back to the Stoics' core value: action. Not endless theorizing, not spiritual performance, just living the truth. Pragmatism is about stripping away the excess and doing what works. You don't need to be perfect. You just need to show up cleanly, with honesty, with effort, with clarity. Being a good person isn't a philosophy class, it's a practice. Philosophy does not promise to secure anything external for a man. Otherwise, it would be admitting something beyond its proper subject matter. For as the material of the carpenter is wood, and that of statuary bronze, so the subject matter of the art of living is each person's own life. Epictetus. Philosophy doesn't exist to get you money, approval, or status. Its goal, to help you live better. Epictetus reminds us that Stoicism isn't about abstract knowledge. It's about craftsmanship. Like a woodworker with wood, your life is your medium, and every decision is a chisel stroke. So instead of worrying about controlling the world, focus on shaping your response to it, your thoughts, choices, routines. That's the Stoics' workshop, and you're the sculptor. A podium and a prison is each a place, one high and the other low. But in either place, your freedom of choice can be maintained if you so wish. Epictetus. Pragmatism is understanding that you are the constant in every circumstance. Whether you're honored or humiliated, promoted or fired, loved or rejected, your reason, your values, your inner state remains yours. That's true autonomy, and it's practical, because it allows you to adapt to any external condition without being owned by it. The Stoic doesn't ask, "What's happening to me?" They ask, "How can I meet this with integrity?" You can commit injustice by doing nothing. Marcus Aurelius. Some people think Stoicism means doing less, caring less, detaching from everything. But here's the practical truth: inaction is still action. Ignoring a need, dodging responsibility, looking away from harm, that's a choice too. Being stoic doesn't mean apathy. It means clarity of effort. You act where you're called. You speak where truth demands. You intervene when silence would be betrayal. Pragmatism isn't neutral. It's engaged clarity. To live life, you need a reason, but perhaps even more than that. You need a stomach. Nietzsche echoing Stoic grit. Life will test you, even when you're doing everything right. The Stoic isn't naive, they're resilient. They understand that discipline isn't glamorous, that serving virtue might mean getting dirty, that real strength often hides in repetition, discomfort, patience. So what's the Stoic approach? Do what needs doing, whether it's fun or not, whether people notice or not, whether you feel like it or not. Because you don't rise by talking about the path. You rise by walking it even when it hurts. Practice yourself, for heaven's sake, in little things, and thence proceed to greater. Epictetus. Greatness isn't built in grand gestures. It's built in daily drills. Want to be strong under pressure? Practice patience in traffic. Want to stay calm in crisis? Practice listening when annoyed. Want to be courageous when it counts? Speak truth on the small stuff. Pragmatic Stoicism starts with training the mind. Over time, in real-life friction, the more you build your mental muscle in small moments, the more it shows up when you need it most. Let us prepare our minds as if we'd come to the very end of life. Let us postpone nothing. Let us balance life's books each day. Seneca, Moral Letters. Here's the most pragmatic advice of all live today. Seneca urges us to treat each day as a full circle, to finish it with nothing left hanging, nothing unspoken, nothing delayed. Because we don't control tomorrow, but we do control how complete we make this day. This isn't grim, it's liberating. It clarifies priorities. It frees us from procrastination. It helps us die each day satisfied. So what needs to be said, done, fixed, or released today? Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do happen. Epictetus and Quiridian. Pragmatism means partnering with reality, not resenting it. You don't have to like everything that happens, but you can align with it, because resistance adds suffering, but acceptance unlocks movement. When you stop wasting energy on "this shouldn't be happening," you start using that energy to respond. Wish for things to unfold as they do because they already have. Then decide, now that it's here, what can I do? You always own the option of having no opinion. Marcus Aurelius. You don't need to weigh in on everything. You don't need to correct everyone. You don't need a take on every issue. Pragmatic Stoicism knows that not every battle is yours. Refuse to be pulled into drama. Refuse to be baited by gossip. Refuse to burn energy on proving your point to people who aren't listening. Instead, conserve your power, focus your fire, channel your clarity. You don't always need to speak. Sometimes, you need to act. Life is long if you know how to use it. Seneca, on the shortness of life. Want more time? Use what you have better. Most of us don't need longer lives. We need cleaner focus, less mental clutter, fewer pointless obligations, more deliberate choices. Pragmatism is about time ownership, knowing what's urgent versus what's noise, being ruthless about what deserves your calendar, your mind, your soul. When you remove distraction, life expands. Make each hour a tool, not a trap. How much more harmful are the consequences of anger than the circumstances that arouse them? Marcus Aurelius. The Stoic doesn't just ask, "Am I right to be upset?" They ask, "Is this response useful?" That's the pivot to pragmatism. Maybe you were wronged, but does replaying it serve you? Does complaining fix it? Does lashing out improve it? Often, The most rational response is not revenge, but release. You protect your energy not by pretending things are okay, but by refusing to give your peace away for free. Apply yourself to what's in front of you, as if it were meant for you. Marcus Aurelius. This is the Stoic at their most practical total presence. Full engagement with what is, as if it were designed just for you, because maybe it was. That chore, that conversation, that job you're outgrowing. It's all training. The key is not wishing for a better task. It's becoming better through the task. Live like this was exactly the challenge you needed. Because it probably is. Practical exercises for August. Action over analysis. Pick one decision you've been overthinking. Make it. Move forward. Learn. Daily craftsmanship. Choose one small task and perform it with full Stoic focus, no multitasking. Mental muscle drill. For 1 week, delay one comfort habit, e.g., snacking, social media by 10 minutes. Watch your control grow. Finish the day. Each evening, reflect: did I close today like it was complete? If not, fix one thing. Is this useful audit? During stress, ask: is this thought or reaction helping me solve the problem? September, fortitude. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it, and this you have the power to revoke at any moment. Marcus Aurelius. Hardship exists, but suffering, that's often optional. This isn't about pretending pain doesn't exist. It's about recognizing your power over how you interpret it. The Stoic doesn't deny difficulty, they endure it by mastering their perception. This is fortitude, the inner strength to stay grounded when the world shakes. The resilience to revoke despair and replace it with reason. Again and again. You can't always stop the storm, but you can always choose how to face it. Difficulties strengthen the mind, as labor does the body. Seneca. Think of fortitude like a muscle. Every setback a weight to lift. Every insult a rep for patience. Every trial a chance to get stronger, not despite the pain, but through it. Seneca reminds us that hardship is the gym of the soul. The Stoic seeks not to avoid it, but to train in it. Want to grow? Don't run from the difficulty. Let it teach you. Let it forge you. What would have become of Hercules if there had been no lion, hydra, stag, or boar, and no savage criminals to rid the world of Epictetus? This one hits hard. No struggle, no hero. Fortitude isn't found in ease, it's born in necessity. Without resistance, your potential stays buried. But when the challenge comes, you rise to meet it. That's what Epictetus is saying. Your problems are your proving ground. Not something to escape, but something to overcome gloriously. Without trials, there's no transformation, no virtue, no growth. Your lion is calling. Will you face it? I judge you unfortunate because you have never lived through misfortune. You have passed through life without an opponent. No one can ever know what you are capable of, not even you. Seneca, on Providence. We often envy the untested, the ones with ease, but Seneca flips the script. If you've faced nothing, you know nothing of yourself. Fortitude reveals you. It strips the false from the true. It shows you who you are not in theory, but in pressure. So don't pray for easy seasons. Pray for strength. Pray to be tested and to pass. Only then will you understand your own depth. The things which are hard to bear are sweet to remember. Seneca, De Providentia. Ever notice how the toughest days become the stories you tell because they shaped you? You earned something in that difficulty: grit, perspective, wisdom. The Stoic doesn't chase pain, but when it comes, they harvest from it. They learn, they grow, they store it as fuel. Fortitude is knowing this: what hurts now may build pride later. Endure it well. One day, you'll look back and say, "That forged me." No man is free who is not master of himself. Epictetus. Fortitude begins with self-mastery, not dominance over others, but control over your own impulses, reactions, addictions, and fears. The person who can endure hardship without breaking, who can delay gratification, who can resist panic, that's a free person. Train your will, tame your temper, strengthen your tolerance. Freedom isn't found in comfort. It's forged through discipline. It is not death that a man should fear, but never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius. Some people survive, but they don't live. They avoid every risk, every pain, every challenge, and in doing so, they avoid meaning. Marcus says, don't fear pain. Fear wasted potential. Fear timidity. Fear stagnation. Fortitude is not about charging into danger for its own sake. It's about having the courage to engage fully with life, including its losses, because a meaningful life is never pain-free, but it is truly alive. Don't seek for everything to happen as you wish it would, but rather wish that everything happens as it actually will. Then your life will flow well. Epictetus. Enchiridion. This is Stoic resilience in its purest form, aligned with reality. Fortitude isn't gritting your teeth while resenting the moment. It's accepting the moment entirely. You don't just endure what is, you welcome it, because you trust yourself to meet it. You trust that this is exactly the test you need to refine your soul. Wish for reality, all of it. That's how you walk through fire without burning. Bear in mind that the measure of a man is the worth of the things he cares about. Marcus Aurelius. Fortitude isn't just about pushing through. It's also about what you're pushing for. Why suffer? Why persist? Because some things matter enough to bear the burden: your values, your family, your mission, your word. The Stoic doesn't suffer randomly. They suffer strategically, for what's worthy, for what lasts. So ask yourself, is this pain meaningful? If yes, keep going. If no, step away. Choose your battles, then endure them like a warrior. Nothing happens to any man that he is not formed by nature to bear. Marcus Aurelius. You were built for this. It doesn't feel like it, sure, but Marcus reminds us what appears unbearable is exactly what you were designed to bear. You are stronger than you've been told, deeper than you've realized. The next time you face something overwhelming, say it out loud. This is not beyond me. This is within my nature. You were made for resilience. Let this moment prove it. The greater the difficulty, the more glory in surmounting it. Epictetus. Easy victories rarely teach, but overcoming real difficulty, that's unforgettable. This is the paradox of fortitude: the tougher the path, the sweeter the triumph. Don't pray for fewer problems. Pray for greater capacity. Don't hide from the weight. Strengthen your back. Build your soul. Because when you finally rise, scarred but standing, you'll know this victory was earned. You may fetter my leg, but not even Zeus himself can get the better of my will. Epictetus. Chains can bind your body, but they cannot touch your will unless you surrender it. Epictetus, once a slave, knew this firsthand. True power isn't physical, it's philosophical. Fortitude is this fierce independence of spirit. You may lose freedom externally, but internally, you remain sovereign. What's your chain right now? A loss, a failure, a burden. Good. Let it tighten and show the world you cannot be broken. Practical exercises for September. Endurance journal. Each evening, write one challenge you faced and how you held firm. Perception pivot. When upset, pause and ask, is this pain from the event or from how I'm interpreting it? Fortitude role model. Pick someone you admire for their strength. Channel their mindset during difficulty. Strength reps. Delay one urge each day. Prove your power over impulse. Built for this mantra. When overwhelmed, repeat. I was made for this. Let it shape me. October, ego. It is impossible for a man to learn what he thinks he already knows. Epictetus. Ego is the enemy of growth. When you believe you've already arrived, already figured it out, already mastered life, you stop evolving. You trade curiosity for certainty. And that's when the descent begins. Epictetus warns humility is the doorway to wisdom. If your cup is full of ego, there's no room to pour anything new in. So empty the cup. Stay teachable. Stay open. That's how the Stoic grows quietly, steadily, always learning. Throw away your conceit, and it will be gone. Tell yourself at once, I am one of the human race, as a sleeper in his bed or as a walker in his path. Marcus Aurelius. The Stoic cure for ego perspective. You're not the center of the universe. You're a small piece of a vast, intricate, and ancient human story. Marcus reminds himself and us to drop the illusion of exceptionalism, not to diminish our worth, but to clarify our place. Ego inflates, perspective grounds, and grounded people make better decisions. So tell yourself daily, I'm not above others, I'm among them. Don't regard yourself as a person who has learned, but as one who is still learning. Epictetus. Ego wants to appear wise. The Stoic wants to become wise. Which one are you? The Stoic approach is humble, not performative. You don't need to project intelligence. You need to pursue it silently, rigorously, patiently. It's not about the impression you give. It's about the person you're becoming. And that person, they're still a student. Always. You must stop being driven by opinion, reputation, and applause. Marcus Aurelius. If your identity depends on applause, you'll always be performing and always exhausted. Ego lives off other people's approval, but Stoicism seeks freedom, and freedom means doing what's right, even if it's unnoticed. If your reputation is all you've got, then someone's opinion can destroy you. But if your character is strong, no opinion can define you. Let go of the need to impress. Replace it with the need to improve. Be wary of the arrogance that comes from being praised, or the despair that comes from being criticized. Epictetus. Here's the danger of ego: it rides high on praise and crashes hard on criticism. But Stoic steadiness. It avoids both extremes. Don't get drunk on compliments. Don't get crushed by critiques. Learn from both. Attach to neither. That's the balance the Stoic walks. Not blind confidence, not fragile self-worth, but durable identity tied to values, not validation. If anyone tells you that a certain person speaks ill of you, do not make excuses about what is said of you, but answer, "He was ignorant of my other faults, else he would not have mentioned these alone." Epictetus, Enchiridion. This is peak anti-ego. Someone criticizes you, don't defend, don't deflect. Accept it with humor. Even that kind of response only comes from real humility, from seeing yourself clearly, flaws and all, without the need to fake perfection. Ego wants to be seen as flawless. The Stoic, they just want to be honest. And honesty begins with accepting your shadow as part of the whole. Receive wealth or prosperity without arrogance, and be ready to let it go. Marcus Aurelius. Success tests character just as much as failure, maybe more. The Stoic doesn't reject wealth or status, but they refuse to cling to it. They see fortune as loaned, not owned. Ego says, "I deserve this." Wisdom says, "I'm grateful but ready to let go." This mindset keeps you free and fortifies you for the inevitable changes life brings. Because what ego clings to, life eventually takes away. Nothing important comes into being overnight. Even grapes or a fig need time to ripen. If you say you want a fig now, I'll tell you to wait. Epictetus. Ego wants immediate results. Stoicism waits for real growth. Patience isn't passive, it's powerful. It says, "I trust the process more than I trust the timeline." The Stoic doesn't rush virtue. They cultivate it, season after season. Quietly, diligently. Let others chase applause. You're chasing something deeper, mastery. And mastery takes time. The first thing philosophy promises us is fellow feeling with all people. In other words, sympathy and sociability. Epictetus. Ego isolates. Stoicism connects. When you're obsessed with your status, your brilliance, your success, you forget we're all in this together. The Stoic resists arrogance by choosing solidarity. You're not better than the barista, or the janitor, or the critic. You're not lesser either. You're human. They're human. Live like it matters. Let your humility be the bridge that lifts others, not the pedestal that lifts you. You are a little soul carrying around a corpse. Epictetus, fragment. It sounds harsh, but it's freeing. You're not your clothes, your car, your job, or even your body. You're a soul, a consciousness, a character in progress. Ego builds identity from the outside in. Stoicism builds from the inside out. This insight reminds us your essence is untouchable, but your ego, that can go. Let go of image. Return to essence, and watch your real power grow. People who labor all their lives but have no purpose to direct every thought and impulse toward are wasting their time. Marcus Aurelius. Ego chases motion. Stoicism chooses meaning. You can be busy and empty, successful and hollow. If you don't know why you're doing something, all the applause in the world won't make it worthwhile. So check in. What's driving you, ego or essence? Fortune fades, fame fades, but a life of purpose that's unshakable. Trade ego's noise for the silence of clarity. Be not elated at excellence, which is not your own. Epictetus, Enchiridion. You inherited wealth. You were born attractive. You have natural talent. Great. But don't mistake fortune for virtue. Ego takes credit for luck. Wisdom sees the difference. The Stoic cultivates excellence not through inheritance, but through intentional effort, through habits, reflection, action. If you're proud, be proud of what you chose, not what you were handed. That's the foundation of unshakable self-respect. Practical exercises for October. Ego check-in. Each night, ask, did I act today from character or from ego? Beginner's mind drill. Pick one thing you think you're good at. Approach it this week as a total student. Praise detox. Go one day without seeking or reacting to praise, just do the work. Humility practice. Admit one fault publicly. Feel the power of truth over image. Essence journal. Write 5 things that define who you are, not what you own or do. November, acceptance. Don't demand that things happen as you wish, but wish that they happen as they do. Epictetus, Enchiridion. This is the cornerstone of Stoic peace. Acceptance is not giving up. It's giving in to what already is and choosing to respond wisely. Epictetus isn't saying you shouldn't have goals. He's saying you shouldn't be crushed when reality doesn't align with your preferences. Life has a shape of its own, and the Stoic flows with it, not against it. This is acceptance, not passive resignation, but active harmony. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. Marcus Aurelius. Obstacle or opportunity. Marcus shows us the Stoic superpower using resistance as fuel, turning challenge into clarity, transforming difficulty into direction. Acceptance doesn't mean liking the problem. It means using the problem, meeting life on its own terms and working with what's given. The wall in your path. It's now your stepping stone. What upsets people is not things themselves, but their judgments about these things. Epictetus, Enchiridion. Most of our suffering comes not from events, but from our interpretation of them. Acceptance is emotional intelligence. It's the skill of seeing clearly and responding proportionally. That insult, it only wounds if you let it define you. That delay, it only frustrates if you expect speed. That failure, it only stings if you think success should be guaranteed. The Stoic sees life as it is, not through the filter of ego and desire. That's where peace begins. You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do, say, and think. Marcus Aurelius. Memento mori. Remember you will die. Acceptance includes the ultimate truth: your time is finite. Every moment could be your last. This isn't morbid, it's clarifying. When you accept mortality, trivial things fade. Clarity sharpens, urgency rises. And with that urgency comes purpose. You stop waiting for a perfect future. You act now. Speak truth now. Live with depth now. Acceptance brings presence, and presence brings meaning. If you want your children and your wife and your friends to live forever, you are stupid, for you are wanting things to be under your control that are not. Epictetus. It hurts to lose people, and it's natural to want to protect them. But Stoicism teaches that we must accept the impermanence of all things, even love, not because we don't care, but because we care rightly. Clinging to people, pretending they'll never change or leave or die, that's not love. That's fear. Real love. It embraces the temporary. It treasures the fleeting. It says, I will love you fiercely while I can. Whenever you are about to find fault with someone, ask yourself the following question. What fault of mine most nearly resembles the one I am about to criticize? Marcus Aurelius. Acceptance isn't just for circumstances. It's also for people. The Stoic isn't blind to others' flaws. They're simply patient with them, because they know we all fall short, we all fumble, and harsh judgment helps no one. Acceptance in relationships means grace, understanding, a willingness to meet others where they are, not just where you wish they were, because no one's perfect, least of all you. It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our opinions about them. Epictetus and Enchiridion. Yes, this quote again because it's that important. The Stoic repeats this truth daily. Why? Because the mind loves to fabricate distress, to overreact, to dramatize. But acceptance is the daily discipline of recalibration, of saying, is this as bad as I think? Or am I fueling it with my own thoughts? You don't control the event, but you do control the meaning you assign to it. Choose peace. Choose power. How ridiculous and how strange to be surprised at anything which happens in life. Marcus Aurelius. Nothing should shock you, not betrayal, not loss, not chaos, not because it's okay, but because it's expected. The Stoic accepts human nature, accepts that life is a mix of joy and suffering, beauty and disappointment. They don't waste energy on surprise. They conserve it for response. That's emotional sobriety, clear-eyed realism, without bitterness. You expected the storm. You trained for it. Now act. Fate leads the willing and drags the unwilling. Seneca. Moral letters. Fate is coming either way. So the question is, will you resist and suffer or accept and flow? Seneca reminds us the wise person doesn't fight reality. They join it. They don't just endure fate, they collaborate with it. What's happening is happening. Your power lies in how you meet it. Dragged or led, the direction's the same, but the experience, that's your choice. All things are in flux, and nothing is permanent. Marcus Aurelius. Everything is changing, always. Your job, your body, your relationships, your beliefs, none of them are fixed. And fighting change only multiplies pain. The Stoic sees impermanence not as a threat, but as a truth to embrace. What is here will leave. What is good will fade. But what is essential, your values. Your character can remain through it all. Acceptance is flowing with time, not clinging to the past. Don't lament the things which fade, but appreciate them all the more for their transience. Seneca, on the shortness of life. Why does a sunset move you? Why does laughter feel precious? Because it passes. Acceptance brings appreciation. When you stop clinging, you start cherishing that moment with a friend, that season of peace, that book you can't put down. Love it because it won't last. This is gratitude without possession. And it's how Stoics learn to love life as it is. We are all just a little breath. Marcus Aurelius. It sounds morbid, but it's not. It's freeing. If we're all just a little breath, then the pressure disappears. The need to dominate, to obsess, to rage, all of it fades. Because what matters now, being kind, being present, living with virtue. Acceptance puts you in alignment with life. You stop resisting what is and start participating in it with humility and grace. Practical exercises for November. Reality Acceptance Journal. Write one thing each day you've been resisting and one way to meet it with grace. Memento Mori Reminder. Place a small object on your desk to remind you you could leave life at any moment. Acceptance Mantra. When something frustrates you, say aloud, I choose to accept, not to argue. Letting go practice. Choose one possession, habit, or thought to release this week. This too. Reflection. When caught in joy or sorrow, whisper, this too shall pass. December. Final reflection. Look back over the past, with its changing empires that rose and fell, and you can foresee the future too. Marcus Aurelius. December invites reflection. It's the closing of a cycle, a return to center. And in true Stoic form, we look back not to wallow or regret, but to see clearly the mistakes, the growth, the detours, the discipline, it all shaped you. Marcus calls us to view time from a broader lens. All empires fall, all things pass, and yet you remain wiser, calmer, more aware. This is the gift of reflection perspective that purifies. To make a habit of complaining is a dangerous practice. Instead, train your mind to see the usefulness of events. Epictetus. What story did you tell yourself this year that things were unfair, that people let you down, that you're behind? Or did you practice a different narrative, one of strength, of learning, of growth through adversity? The Stoic sees the past as material for mastery, not something to escape, but something to integrate. Every failure was feedback. Every conflict was training. Every delay, a chance to practice patience. Review your story. Rewrite it with truth and wisdom. We are more often frightened than hurt, and we suffer more in imagination than in reality. Seneca. Letters. What did fear stop you from doing this year? That email you didn't send, that apology you didn't make, that boundary you didn't set. Seneca reminds us that fear is a liar. Most of what we dread never happens, and even when it does, we're stronger than we expect. Reflection helps us reclaim those moments, not to beat ourselves up, but to reclaim courage. Next time, choose action over assumption. Begin at once to live, and count each separate day as a separate life. Seneca. Letters. Did you truly live this year, or did you wait for the perfect moment? The perfect job, the perfect body, the perfect partner. Seneca pleads, stop delaying. Every day is a complete life, a full cycle, a microcosm of your whole existence. The Stoic doesn't wait to live. They bring intention to this moment. Today is not a rehearsal. It's the show. The whole future lies in uncertainty. Live immediately. Seneca. Letters. There is no guarantee you'll get next year. No promise you'll have time to make that dream real, to forgive that person, to say the thing you need to say. This is not meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you. The Stoic reflects on time not to panic, but to prioritize. So ask yourself, if this was your last December, how would you live it now? Do that. Dig deep within yourself, for there is a fountain of goodness ever ready to flow if you will keep digging. Marcus Aurelius. Reflection isn't just about what happened. It's about who you were through it all. And if you're honest, you'll see moments of incredible strength, kindness, grit, humor in the face of pain, wisdom that came at a cost. That goodness, it's in you. Not as a concept, but as a source. Marcus tells us, keep digging. Beneath the noise, beneath the ego, there is water in your well. It is not the man who has too little who is poor, but the one who hankers after more. Seneca. Letters. Did you spend the year chasing more money, more validation, more stimulation? Or did you cultivate contentment? The Stoic year ends not with acquisition, but with abundance of spirit. You already have breath, time, thought, choice, virtue. That's not lack, that's wealth. Let your final reflection be one of sufficiency. Don't let your reflection on the whole sweep of life crush you. Don't dwell on all the troubles you've faced or might face. Just ask, what is my duty now? Marcus Aurelius. Reflection can become rumination if we're not careful. Marcus reminds us, don't get lost in the weight of everything. Focus on this moment's task. Yes, this year was heavy, but what can you do now? Make the call. Apologize, rest, write, serve, heal. Final reflection is not for wallowing, it's for waking up. Take full account of what excellences you possess, and in gratitude remember how you would crave them if you had them not. Marcus Aurelius. Want to end the year with peace, gratitude, not just for what you've gained, but for what you already had and overlooked. Your mind, your friendships, the fact that you're still here, still breathing, still growing. Gratitude converts reflection into reverence. It dignifies your struggle and sanctifies your survival. And that's how the Stoic ends the year, not with regret, but with respect for what has been. We are often not aware that we are dying every day. Thus we live as if we had eternal time. Seneca. Letters. Time is the most radical teacher. It cannot be tricked. It does not pause. Each breath is a page turning. Each hour is a chapter closing. To reflect stoically is to understand this: you are dying daily. So live vividly. Let this awareness push you to sincerity, to intention, to love, to less noise and more meaning. Let this December be a turning point, not a finish line. What is not good for the hive is not good for the bee. Marcus Aurelius. The year wasn't just about you. Did your choices nourish the hive? Did you lift others, support them, bring more virtue to your circle? The Stoic doesn't reflect only on personal progress. They ask, did I serve? Did I live beyond myself? As you end this year, make space for that reflection. Because no greatness is isolated. No virtue exists in a vacuum. We rise by rising together. The art of living is more like wrestling than dancing. Marcus Aurelius. Let's end with this. Life is a struggle, but that's okay. The Stoic doesn't seek a frictionless existence. They know that growth is grappling with habits, emotions, desires, duties. And you did that all year long, maybe clumsily, maybe imperfectly, but you showed up. That's what matters. So take a breath, bow to the struggle, and step into the next year with eyes open and heart steady. Final reflection exercises for December. Year in Review Journal. Write your top 5 challenges and what each taught you. Gratitude list. List 10 people, experiences, or traits you're grateful to have. Regret into renewal. Choose one regret. Identify one way to grow from it moving forward. Silent sitting. Sit for 5 minutes. Breathe. Ask what matters now. New Year's intention, not resolution. Set one value to deepen next year, like courage, presence, or humility. And now, we come to the end. Let yourself breathe a little slower. No need to rush. There's nowhere else to be right now. Just this moment, this quiet, this simple space you've carved out to reflect, to listen, to be still. You've walked through 12 months of ancient wisdom tonight. Not as a scholar, not as someone trying to prove anything, but as a human being, curious, imperfect, evolving. Maybe some of those words struck a nerve. Maybe some felt like home. Maybe you didn't agree with everything, and that's okay. This isn't about being flawless. It's about practicing awareness, living a little more awake. In a world that moves so fast, it's rare to just sit with your thoughts and feel their weight or their lightness. And yet, that's the invitation Stoicism gives us, not to fix everything, but to face it, to be present with what is, rather than what we wish was. So as this journey winds down, let your shoulders drop. Let your thoughts drift. Let the noise in your head soften to a whisper. You don't need to figure it all out tonight. Just hold on to one idea, one quote, one reflection that made you pause. Let it sink into the background of your thinking, quietly working in you as you sleep. You're not behind. You're not broken. You're becoming, slowly, deliberately, like everything worthwhile. So close your eyes, if they're not already. Let the day fade out gently. You made space for something deeper tonight, and that matters. You're doing just fine. Good night, my friend. Stay steady, and we'll meet again soon. Sweet dreams.